Well, good morning. Afternoon. We're going to be working on the MG today. Mostly need to work on the steering system. I got a few things done on it off camera, and then I did a few things while we were doing our live build video or live Zoom meeting that we did 10 o'clock Utah time. So what we're going to do today, let me go ahead and walk you through it, is I got pieces everywhere. Is we got to work on the bracket. So let me go ahead and loosen this out. This bar clamp here. Now you're going to hear everything fall. I'm trying to stop that. Okay, so we have the steering shaft, pillow block that's way overkill, but I'll explain the overkillness here in a minute. And a bracket to hold the steering bars on. So got that. And what else was there? Let's see here. So also we have to do is I wanted to get the front piece here kind of figured out. Right now I just have a bar. This is actually a toolbox lock from the grill area. That I wanted to put the steering pieces. Let me grab one. These are the steering rods here. And on the Buick Bug, my other cart, it was inside the main linkage. And so when it came loose, you couldn't see that it came loose. So I wanted to have it on the outside. Yeah, it will distract because the grill should be here and there shouldn't be anything coming out of it. But, I'm not building a replica. I'm building a character of this CycleKart. So it has its own bits and challenges. So this is just a bar off of a go-kart that I bought a while back, and I have the rod and the dies to make my own. So now let's go on to this part. So right here is the steering shaft. This is way overkill. This is, let's see here, let's find out. I don't remember what size this was. I think it's 3. It is bigger than that. Wow. Okay. So this rod, okay, here's a trick that I don't know, you guys probably already know this one, but I'll share it anyways. You take an open-end wrench, okay, and that size right there is 5/8. So I thought it was a 1/2 inch rod, so I grabbed my 1/2 inch combination wrench here, and they don't fit on there, so that tells me it's bigger than a 1/2 inch bar. So just kept grabbing to the next big one, and there it is. It's a 5/8 rod. That is definitely overkill. If I remember right, I think this rod was an axle, meant to be an axle rod for a small go-kart that I had at the school. So I have a 5/8 pillow block here, and this is what will pivot, and then I'm securing this up what would be under the hood of the CycleKart. So let's go ahead and back that up so we get a better view. And unfortunately it blows out the back. But we're not looking outside, we're looking in here. So So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and set this up. So we'll go ahead and go through the front where the grill will be. Okay, I'm just gonna set this down and get my brake line in the way. I'm gonna work on that today too. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna move this one. Be able to like close up camera. Okay, we got that set up, and then I got this board for the dash. Can't think today. So I've already marked this on here. There we go. That up there. So here's our dash. Okay. And then that makes it a nice lineup for the steering wheel, which is about right here. Let's give you some measurements from the back of the seat to the face of this is sitting at 22.5 inches. Okay. From the back of the seat to here, let me just go this way. So I'm coming down, so from here to here is sitting at 22.5 as well. So that makes for a bit of an opening. Most likely, I'm going to pull the steering wheel because I'm looking at it. I want the steering wheel down here. So I'm looking at a, what, 14-inch steering wheel is what I'm thinking. That goes to there. Yeah, that's 14 inches. So I'm going to move the steering shaft down and then cut it. I probably won't do that until I have more of this figured out. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move the bracket that's holding the steering shaft out of the way. And I'm just going to set that there, see where that now ends. Very noisy neighborhood today. Okay, so that sits, and that puts the steering wheel base plate right there where the spline would be for the quick disconnect. I think that's what we're going to do. As it comes on, it has a faceplate here that I bolt the quick disconnect off, so it brings it here. So the steering wheel actually sits off about 1.25 inches from the end of that. So that puts it there. Okay. So that's what's going on there. So I keep looking back behind me for better guidance. So on the inside here, I have the pillow block. And what I want to do is I'm going to mount this. There we go, sliding up. Looks like I'm going to have to move it again. There's a burr. I think this was using an axle. There's a burr here, so I'm going to have to slide it back and off and put it on this side. And then I have this board that will sit here. Now, this body is tapered. Okay, so it gets wider to the back. It starts out 15 here. Sorry about that. Dropping stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to slide this back out and off again. Remove the pillow block. Yeah, there's a burr right there that I've tried sanding. I don't know. This pillow block is very precise, I guess. Okay. Slide that back through. Through the wheel here. And then I'm just going right up to the front bar. Okay, just for now. Let me get this taller. Now I'm going to get the dash back on. The dash was cut at an angle as well. Okay, and then that sits there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, give me 1 second here, sorry. That's what it's like for a one-man show. This is quarantine done. There we go. Cockpit view. There we go. All right, so now I've already measured this board for drawing here for this. Remember, the taper's narrow to the nose. So this slides in here. And I have to get it a little lower. Loosen that a little more. There we go. Then I have some marks that I've already made on the body here, on where I want everything kind of sitting. Okay. Now I have set it up. With that bar there. And I got that one there. So I know it's overkill, way heavy. And that's what I wanted to, I mentioned this story last time, is I bought a inexpensive rack and pinion for the Buick Bug. And it worked great. Oh, it was so much smoother than a steering shaft on a go-kart. A steering shaft on a go-kart there's a rod, and then it has the pivot pins off of it. So what it is on there is, so we have our rod from the steering shaft. Here's our steering wheel. And then you just usually have a plate that comes up, and then another plate comes up, and your rods come off like that. Now, what I like about that, let me get it to a better camera. It's glaring out from the sun. What I like about this, this is really basic. This has the steering wheel, and then the rod, and then the two rods for your tie rods. Okay, really basic setup, but it has go-kart steering. It's abrupt, it's stiff, it's, I don't know how to explain it, but it just, I like the car feeling. When you turn, it's smooth, it's kind of geared out. So that's why I went with the rack and pinion. But when my wife was in Titan, the nut that held the pinion gear in place backed off without knowing. And so the pinion gear fell out, and she lost steering. And when you're in a panic situation, you slam on your brakes. But unfortunately, when you deal with brakes that are only on one wheel that aren't the best performers, yeah, she crashed. Fixed it up. I was still able to race the Titan. I was very hesitant about my speeds because I didn't have all the tools I wanted out there. I just brought what I thought, and I didn't think about that being a problem. So I told my wife that I'm gonna make sure that this one's built nice and sturdy for her. That's why I went with 1/2 inch ply. You know, a lot of people went with thinner stuff. This is nice and stiff. Makes it easy to rest and push yourself up. There's 2x6s sitting in the floor to hold your weight. I'm using 2x6s up here. And what will happen is where the camera's mounted, right behind the driver's head, will actually have a driver's loop. So that way, if you do roll, your head isn't the highest thing on here anymore. Since this will be driven by my wife and by my son. And Russ made a good point today is, you know, regardless of what the rules say, is safety and you want to come home for dinner. And so that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that loop in. And a lot of people's like, well, then you'll drive more riskier. Yeah, that kind of goes along with that safety third with Mike Rowe, where he talks about if, you know, our number one thing is safety. Well, no, a lot of businesses, their number one thing is productivity or profit or knowledge. Then, you know, it falls under the rest. Well, I don't think for my wife and my son that having that driver's hoop will cause a safety third, meaning that you'll put more risk into it. So, but you know, it's inherent. You know, we were talking about spokes today about making sure they stay tight. I know I have to relace a few of these older spokes that I have sitting on this cart, and then I got to double check all the other ones on the vintage CycleKart ones I got. So, but yeah, that's hence why I'm overbuilding this is because of who's going to be the driver. Um, so let's go ahead and let's get this in. So now I had an issue, and this is what I wanted to say for this video. I'm going to flip you around up here now. Let's see if I can get you to stand in place. Is I don't know if you can see it very well in this view, but it's not much else I can give you. Is this pillow block? No, you can't really see it, but the pillow block is well below. So here's what my decide was. Instead of putting this here at the top, is I'm going to go ahead and bring this down to the pillow block. Well, I don't know what I can do. There's the pillow block. You can barely see it. The other board's in the way, but right here is the pillow block. Is I'm going to bring the board down to the pillow block. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I used to have a nice little 6-inch level. I can't find it. My kid's probably playing with it. So I have a nice little torpedo level. So I'll use that. I don't know how accurate the feet are. It's designed to be on a string. So now I can. There we go. And then I go this way. So this tells me this side's way up. I brought a hammer for a reason. All right. Dropping everything here. Okay. I got it marked. I got it marked. What's nice is I've already drawn the mark, so I'm kind of cheated. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and secure this. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the board out. Grab my tape measure. And I have my marks here on the side. Get that out. You don't need to stare at it. So I got my mark there on my side. I get that fixed. And so I can measure down and go, okay, halfway. So I'm going to go to the other side so I can see better. We go 2 inches down. Now I can come on the outside. Come 2 inches down and make my marks. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I got my marks. So I know where to drill. Now let's go get a drill bit. Fortunately, I don't know if I have any screws. This is one thing I don't have a lot of is fasteners at my house. Got nails. I don't want a nail because I want to be able to back it back out. Got machine screws, carriage bolts, 4-inch washers, rivets. I just use that to help. Oh, here we go. I've got some grabbers, and that will work just fine. I got some basic grabbers. Just sheetrock screws. So that will hold in place until I get some nice. The one thing about sheetrock screws is the head isn't that strong. So when you torque them down, these heads can snap off. So definitely going to pre-drill it so that way I don't do that. And then that way I can then take it out. They still have to do all the body work. Okay. Now, go ahead and get everything positioned. Oops, direction. Okay, I'll grab my torpedo level. Okay. Okay. All right. So, mute that. Okay. So there's those. And then grab the Now what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and countersinking a large drill bit hole so that it will take the head of the screw, because this should be nice and flat. On this MG, it was actually quite unique. It was a fabric covered car, wooden skeleton, fabric covered. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fabric cover the rear half just like it. The front was going to be metal, and my wife wanted it painted a particular paint job, which if I haven't mentioned it, I will keep it a secret. So, all right, let me just go ahead and finish drilling these last bit of holes. Okay, so something I learned last time when I was doing these videos was I was peaking out in volume. So I'm trying different things. It's once again the whole purpose of this live feeds is to help me with my lessons I have to teach as an automotive instructor. And because of the quarantine, pandemic, whatever, I had to teach all my lessons from home, which was a lot of fun. But my audio was always a little different, and so I keep playing with things. So what I'm doing is this is me learning how to do my lessons while I'm doing a hobby. There you go, two things at once. All right, so what I've done, so I went ahead and secured this board here. All right, and now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and move this dash down a little bit. There we go. Is what I want to do. Because this CycleKart is going to actually have running lights. It will have lights. It will have a battery because it will also have a remote start system, push button start. So I'm actually going to put a little light right here, a little underglow under the hood. So just for the fun of it. All right, so I want to make sure I have a little gap there. There we go. So now I'm ready to secure this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back off, and I can. This is this is where it wants. Now I need to put the bearing on. So I'm going to pull this out of it. Sorry about that. And now I can get the pillow block. Now, if I remember right, this was 17 inches here. Yes. Where there's my tape measure. Yeah, 17 inches. Okay. So half of that, right? 5.5. No, 8.5. It's 8 to 16. The other half. Gosh, what happens when I do these later in the day? My brain doesn't work as much. So 8.5 inches is dead center. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a mark at 8.5. Okay. And then I'm gonna use this, make a mark down so I know where the center is. Okay. And then I'm gonna bring the pillow block up. Come on. And there we go. So I'm looking at center. So now I'm just gonna make a quick reference mark. There we go. And I can now mount the pillow block on that block. And so what I gotta do is once again take that back off. And that's a lot of this in CycleKart is adding and removing parts. I'll find my other drill bit. So put that down in the bucket. And I'm gonna pull this back out. Sorry. All right, so got my board, got my mark, got my pillow block. So let's go ahead, switch back around here. So I got my marks, so now I'm just going to go ahead and locate this. Now this pillow block is designed to slide, so that will make it nice if I didn't get it just right. Okay, now I'm going to use lag bolts through here, so that's because that's what I have. Let's go ahead and get that drilled. Um, all right, so let's get now. Unfortunately, the lag bolts I have right now are a little long. They came off of some pallets that I ripped down. So go ahead. Here's my board. So yeah, these are the eye bolts I'm using. But what's nice is I can sit there and cut them off. Double check my drill bit. Perfect. And then I'm gonna grab the pillow block. Get that riding bites. Okay. And let's go ahead. That was a little crooked. Now just oops, putting this secured on there. That way it will hold the steering shaft in place better. Oops. Oh, Bolt got some motor threads. I'll grab a different one. No reason why I was having a hard time starting. Ah, bad bucket. All right, now a wrench. And then a pair of pliers, which happen to be in here. These are some really nice pliers. Just regular kind of channel lock style pliers, but because of how the pivots are, multiplies your hand. These are HL138AC keys from a Snap-on. Yep, I have a Snap-on. Oh my goodness. You know what? That's gonna be a pain. Oh, that's fun. All right, so I got the pillow block on. Let me get that. There we go. What's nice about the pillow block, that bearing can switch around. So bring that around. Okay, and get the screws back in. Whoa. Trying to line those up. I have another camera coming. That'll make this a little easier. Sorry. Again, these are just temporary. Okay, so now of that, I have that. Now I could set up the dash, secure it down how I want it. Okay, and let's go ahead and I've got a few more minutes. So let's go ahead and talk about the next piece. real quickly. Let me go ahead and move you. All right, there we go. Now let me back you up just a little bit. One interesting thing about this webcam, man, it's got one heck of a zoom. All right, there we go. Another background blown out. But so what I want to talk about at the end of this video is the linkage for steering. So I built this plate for the rack and pinion. It's got holes designed just for it, and it would actually come across right here. So what I'm going to do is I got these two holes left, is I'm going to use that to build a cup to hold the end of this shaft right here. And then I'll get the plates, actually I'll make them in the next video. And this way I can now bolt this here, and then I can go ahead and make my own rod, and that's what we'll do, from here to here. And then this way when we make our turns, it will sit up. I can't make the turn right now because it's sitting on the table. So that's what we will do on our next video is steering rods. So what I want to do is let's review where we're sitting at on our projects. It's more fun that way. All right, so on the MG, we removed the steering shaft from the rack and pinion setup. We've mounted the body. We've now located and sized the steering system. So that's what I'm going to work on off camera is all that part. And then we need to a board to hold the steering, which we just did. So we can check that off. Let's go ahead and check two of those off. So board to hold the steering, size up the steering system. Okay, so we still have to bolt the engine, footrest, brake lines, plan out the grill system, and we'll do that after I get the linkage built for this thing, because I don't want to build the dash and then find out, not the dash, but the grill, that it will be in the way of the arms as it moves back and forth. Okay, so that's that on the MG. On the Buick Bug, this one right here, Carlos's favorite CycleKart, it's waiting for some steel to come in. So I ordered some steel. I just haven't gotten to go pick it up. It should be here on Tuesday. And we're going to build the hoops for the front, the rear, and then right here where then the nose of the CycleKart sits. So we have that planned for the next couple build days. And I'm trying to build along with you guys so that way you can see these things live. I try to do it just an hour at a time, and you can see how much time Dennis invests over the weeks on his builds and the quick little videos we watch of his. Well, it takes a lot of time. So, all right, that's where I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.